And I quote, "I'll be there in a minute. Give me a second."
Time is relative, folks. Time is relative.
Yes. So hey, cheers to everybody in the chat. They're a division rival. I don't care how many wins they get. Screw them.
That wasn't the take I was expecting to hear.
I want to gush over watching live Chris Tanev.
I think that we completely underestimate the skill it takes to play defense.
One highlight or several highlights does not a Calder trophy make.
I'm stepping in here. I'm going to be the crotchety old man here. They need to learn patience. They need to understand the tension, and everything, and the drama.
How dare! Look at this. How is McDavid not getting a penalty?
You guys need to calm down with this, okay? You guys need to calm down with it.
Calm is a state of mind that really doesn't happen very often in Christmas season. And tonight, I'm not going to be calm because I get old friend of the show, the guy who actually started the name of Shifts and Pucks, Graham Mosimann. How you doing, Graham?
Oh, I forgot about that. Hi, handsome friend. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good.
Your beard had less gray than the last time I saw you.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yes, for those who are newer to the those who are newer to the podcast, we used to be called the Hockey Podcast, and back then we had Graham on, and before we went live, I think it was before we went live, he was asking about the swearing. If swearing was allowed on the podcast, and well, that all went out the window when we brought on my brother Devin, and so Chris has this great line of what was it? It was we first tried to keep it PG, and then Devin came on, and the Shifts and Fucks came out, or something like that. And so
that sounds about right.
We PG'd the name, but there's still shits and fucks on this podcast.
We say bad words like grown ups.
So, but yeah, so it's been a while since we've had Graham on, and we've been wanting to have him on for a long time, and we finally were able to make it work. And man, it's too bad we weren't able to have you on for the blood feud that was the 7-game playoff series last year, Graham.
Man, it's so funny because I remember when that series was going, I was talking to my fiance, and I was like, man, I wish I could go on, like, because I had a few friends that did hockey shows, and you folks among them, and I was like, I really wish I could pop on Shifts and Pucks, because that would be like, it'd just be us lighting each other on fire for a couple hours every week, and that would have been just like great, just fun show. But I worked for an evil I won't say evil. I worked for a very large media company that didn't like me doing that, and now I don't. So, light each other on fire again. Woo.
Yes. Yeah. So, and we will get to the Oilers there, but this is the Canucks podcast, so we are going to talk a couple things on the Canucks, and then we'll dive deep into the Oilers there with Graham. But last night was a huge night for the Canucks, even though they lost in overtime. But it was the return of Thatcher Demko after him getting injured in Game 1 versus Nashville in the playoffs last year. After coming back from another injury before that, he's back, and he survived Game 1. So,
I mean, do we know that for sure? Have we seen the medical report from today?
I think he practiced today full time. Like, I think we're good.
I hope so, man. I feel so bad for Demko because, like, he's so good. He's a wonderful, like, just an interesting guy. He's a great quote, and his I don't want to say his body's made of glass. But like he does get hurt a lot, but he just keeps getting hurt in like weird, strange ways, like an injury that has never been seen in a goalie before, because that's not ominous. Glad he's
When
back.
you have, yeah, when you have to Google what a popliteus is.
That's a race. That's a group of people on Star Trek. Okay, it's not an injury.
It is a muscle in the knee.
Yeah, sure. All right, Dr. Nick, I'll trust you. I felt bad for Demko because like he you could see he was like a little nervous because I watched a bit of that game and I was jumping back and forth between that and the Oilers one, and like I felt like he was a little tentative, like he almost didn't trust his own movement at times. And then there was some oh boy, absolutely baffling play from Atu Ratty. He's an interesting person to watch play. Oh boy. And our sweet baby Vinny Desharnais is, doing his best, so still happy for him. But I felt kind of bad for Demko because I thought 4 goals on 25 shots for an 840 maybe wasn't the most deserved return to lineup for him.
No, but he made some big saves. He faced a few odd man breaks and breakaways where he looked good. The one thing I just noticed right off the bat is how just big he looks in the net compared to other goalies. I mean, it doesn't hurt that they were wearing the black skate jerseys, but
that's a Vezina frontrunner Kevin Lankinen to you. It's Team Finland starting goalie Kevin Lankinen to you. Yeah, he's like Kevin's not a huge guy, and Demko big boy. He big boy.
Yeah. So it's just it. Yeah, there's definitely some rust there. Some just not quite trusting it. First game back and forever. He definitely had a giveaway on the second goal, but it'll come. You can tell through the game he's starting to get better, and hopefully with him coming back, sounds like they're gonna be getting JT Miller back here soon as well. That we'll see more what the Canucks the team looks like, what the Canucks team should look like going forwards, as opposed to what they've looked like through most of the season when they've had no Demko for up until last game. They've had no JT Miller for the last little bit. They've lost Philip Roenick long term as well. So it's been a season.
Yeah, I see. If I was in your shoes, I'd be pretty stoked, honestly, with like how the Canucks have been able to kind of hold in. Because like when the news comes out the day that Demko's not there, like okay, well that's not good. Then JT disappears for a little bit, and at least Pettersson feels like he kind of you're not getting a coin flip player, but like the highs are high and the lows are extremely low with him at times. So like I'll Canucks in, I think they're technically a wild card spot right now.
I think so, yeah.
Technically, let me do some quick math. Yeah, it's Colorado, and then the Canucks are in the second wild card spot. Although, like, God, the conference is so weird. Like 9 points separate sixth from first, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I'd be stoked if it sucks that people are hurt, but I mean, if you can, flip a Nils Höglander, couple picks, get back some better defense, like Canucks are fine. It'll be. I'm both terrified and excited to potentially face you in the playoffs again.
and this year we'll be able to light each other on fire for the whole series on the podcast.
Yeah, let's go. And we'll have to have you guys on other thing on our show now, because I've now worked for the Game Over network, and we host a live Oilers post-game show every day, and then I have a podcast that's going to be going on hiatus for a little bit because I'm really busy with a new job. And so it'll be coming back in the new year with a daily hockey show from the Game Over network. So we'll have to have you guys pop on, and we'll should do some good crossovers, because I hope these teams meet up again, because if it looks real, if things line up like they could, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
It will be. Yeah, the arms race between the Canucks and Oilers, especially loading up on the blue lines, is going to be something to watch going into the new year and leading up to the deadline, because not only the Canucks looking, I think the Oilers definitely need to be looking at the blue line as well.
1,000%. We'll get to the Oilers in a little bit, but what with Demko back and JT Miller looking back, kind of coming soon, like where are you at with the Canucks right now, and how are you feeling?
I'd say that there's still some cautious optimism. Now that Pettersson's starting to find his groove again, you've got right now we've got good Jake DeBrusk and he's on the streak. And you've got some other pieces that are looking really good. The Kiefer Sherwood pickup is looking really good.
Sherwood's that was a shrewd bit of business. Bit of business. Kiefer Sherwood's been real nice.
Yeah, and Danton Heine has been a good depth pickup.
Are you praising
who I thought was
Boston Bruins?
Yeah, right. Derek Forbort. He's coming back here soon
too. Yeah, totally. 3 Boston Bruins. Look at you go.
Yeah, we traded those 3 for and gave them Zadorov and Lindholm. So,
oof, man. I have opinions about Nikita Zadorov.
I think we all do.
And Lindholm actually too, and Lindy.
Yeah, but. Yeah, you've got some good pieces, but there's still some holes in the lineup that need to be filled. The revelation that Eric Brandstrom's been for this team has been really nice, especially because I thought he was basically just like basically a contract contract dump from when they made the Tucker Poolman trade to get out of LTIR just before the season. So he's been playing sort of third line minutes, but he's added the puck moving ability that isn't available when Quinn Hughes isn't on the ice. So when you've got it's Eric Brandstrom, Quinn Hughes, and a bunch of keys, really is what it is now, right?
It's a bunch of NHL 25 NPCs, yeah. A lot of creative players in there. Yeah. A lot of creative players. Yeah. I mean, Eric Brandstrom's so funny because like he was the centerpiece of the Mark Stone trade, which is just baffling to think of at this point. Like I don't know if you can think of a worse trade in the last 10 years that has been more horrific for one team and more successful than another. I mean, maybe Tage Thompson came back in the Ryan O'Reilly deal, but like sending out Mark Stone, who didn't want to leave because they were, he's too old, he doesn't fit the core. Mark Stone will look pretty good right now on Ottawa Senators uniform. So, but I mean, good for Eric Brandstrom because like even when he kind of did his little kind of quick run around, it kind of felt like it was all right, cool. Play out your NHL career. Head back to Europe, call it a career, and maybe we'll see you in a while. But right hand shot. He's 25, I think, or is he 26? No, he's got to be like 25 or 24.
He's probably mid to late 20s now.
If only we had the all powerful internet to look.
Let's see here. He's 25. Yeah,
25. Yeah. Oh man. Like some defensemen don't figure it out until their late 20s. And I mean, if he's starting to do
it, I think that's most defensemen, honestly. It's such a tough position to play. This might hurt your brain a little bit, but I'm gonna make that argument for Darnell Nurse when we get to him. He's still figuring it out.
Dude, we're going to park some time when we get to the Oilers part of the show. Darnell Nurse rocks, and it's weird and very cool.
Yeah. When you're talking about like trades that just didn't quite work out for one team, I've been on this like whole Buffalo Sabres thing with like, you talked about the Ryan O'Reilly trade. They got Tage Thompson back. The Sam Reinhart deal where they get Devin Levi, who's still in the AHL, and like a late
Oh.
first round pick back, and he's just
Oh.
Sam Reinhart's just turned into an superstar stud.
Yeah, I mean, like I
Let
just
alone yeah,
I feel
like
so
I think
bad
you could
for
go
Buffalo.
multiple ways with Buffalo too, right? There's also the Eichel trade. So
I mean, the Eichel trade still got some time to find out. I mean, it doesn't look good that he went and won a cup
Yeah.
immediately after. But like, again, this is why I've never been a fan of Kevin Adams, and I think we got in a fight about Kevin Adams like 4 years ago when I was like, this is a bullshit hire. And it sucks. You were like, nah, he's got some history. I was like, no, that guy sucks. And like, if you look at the width and breadth of what he's done some real good things and some real shrewd moves. But he hasn't built out the roster around them. And then he has that disastrous press conference on the weekend where he's talking about how they don't have palm trees and players don't want to come here. Well, then get interesting and trade for players who don't have trade protection, dude. Like, don't whine about how your job's hard when you're being paid $2 million a year. Just go do your job.
yeah, I mean, I think if you listen to the whole quote from that one, it's not as bad as just we don't have palm trees and we have taxes. Like,
I'm blowing it out of the water and I'm cherry picking quotes. God damn it!
But it's one of those comments when you make it, yeah, you're getting radioed. Like that's
Every
the
time.
only thing
Every time.
everyone's hearing.
Yeah, it's the Kevin Lowe. Well, I think we got something in the water here. Or what? No, it wasn't Kevin Lowe. That was that other guy that sucked. Bob Nicholson. There's something in the water.
Yeah.
Tobias Reeder scores. The Oilers make the playoffs. All right, Bob, make your shitty burger.
But it's yeah, I think with getting back off of this tangent, back to Eric Brandstrom.
Sorry, Eric Brandstrom rocks. That was what the segment was about.
He's just it's been really nice to see the like I said, I thought he was just basically a contract spot like throw in so that Colorado kept there's a certain amount of under the 50 contract limit. I thought that's literally what it was. But he's turned out to be very, very useful for the Canucks. He's been able to step in and be just a capable NHL defenseman when sometimes other players that the Canucks have brought in haven't. So
You mean like Tucker Pullman?
I mean, poor Tucker Pullman. Just yeah, but yeah, I think it's where I'm at with the Canucks is that I'm cautiously optimistic. I think with one or two moves, I think you can take a team that has been showing flashes of good to back to the team that was like almost dominant at times last year in the regular season.
I think that's fair. I think that's really fair. I mean, for the Canucks, I think for that team, you really got to focus on defense as the place to shore up. Like if you can pull a Marcus Patterson out of Pittsburgh, I think that could be really good. If in some way you can convince Jeff Gorton to give up on Mike Matheson, although like the price for a Matheson is going to be unreal given how well he's played. It's a move like that where you kind of got to go big game hunting. I almost wonder if the Canucks want to do something along the lines of giving up some just because they have been burned on like Zadorov now and Lindholm now, like guys that for all intents and purposes seem like great fits and looked like great fits and probably should have stayed Canucks and then have them walk. I really wonder if the move this year is to get that guy that has like 2 years left as opposed to just a rental.
Yeah, I think they will be looking to find their next Philip Hronek is really what they're looking for. Someone who's got a couple years left or someone who just has team control for a couple years. Yeah,
because like you can't. I mean, losing someone else like on a rental, it doesn't kill your team. But like, let me tell you, from an owner's perspective, we traded some young guys away for one-off rentals, and it really sucks to see players like Michael Kesselring absolutely crush it for Utah when we got 20 games in a Nick Bukestad. Sick.
Yeah. That was when you were talking about that was the first name that came into my head was Michael Kesselring.
And he even looked good when they did it. That was one of the ones you were like, why, Ken? Why? This is one of the good ones. What have you done?
You need depth defensemen.
Yeah, but they had Vinny Desharnais, didn't they? So who cares?
So it's as I said, I think at least with the Oilers, I think it's more of a left side guy that they'd probably be looking for.
Oh no, right? We need a righty. We need a righty so bad. Although I'm tired.
Oh, that's right. Darnell is a left shot. Yeah, that's the same thing. You've got with the Canucks and Oilers, they're going to be looking for the same thing.
Honestly, these two teams might drive the price up on each other, and it's going to kind of blow when Vegas just shows up and gets them for nothing.
Yeah. What magic is the Vegas Golden Knights gonna pull and get something like the getting Thomas Hertl last year. Like where did that come from?
Yeah, I don't know if I know everyone hates Vegas. I think Vegas rocks. They're so much fun and they don't care. And I appreciate that because I think teams are way too precious about their players. But even that move, I was like, all right, cool. Now trade Bill Carlson and call it a day. But I don't know. I didn't expect Vegas to be as good as they have been this year. Like I did not see it. I mean, Minnesota and Winnipeg are like the classes of the league so far. But Vegas, 3 points behind the Wild right now.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to expect of Vegas because they lost Marchessault. They lost who else did they lose? But losing Marchessault is huge, and they didn't really
Chandler
replace
Stevenson
him with
is a big one. Chandler
Stevenson as well. Yeah, so but they just seem to have some players that can step in, and they got some bargains that are working for them too. So
I think Vegas was really, really smart to kind of pick out players whose numbers had probably been depressed by the teams that they were on. Like Noah Hannafin's always been a good defenseman, but you've never seen him with rocket power upfront talent to pass to. He's never. The only time he had that is when it was Lindy and Gaudreau and Tkachuk all cooking at the same time. And then even that line, it was mostly Rasmus Anderson that played with those guys. So, now you have Hannafin getting to go line up with Alex Pietrangelo, which is disgusting. So I think Vegas has always been really smart, and it's fun to hate them. I get it, but I don't know. They're silly, and I like them, and they make me happy.
Yes. It's their blue line is why they're so good. Hannafin,
and 30-goal scorer Ivan Barbashev.
Yeah. They've got Shea Theodore, Braden McNabb, Zach Whitecloud, Nicholas Haig. The depth that they have on that blue line is ridiculous.
If you are in a fantasy league that values blocks as an important stat, and you don't have Nicholas Haig or Zach Whitecloud, stop. Go trade for them or go find them because they are unbelievable. And there are huge reasons why Logan Thompson should have been Canada's goalie for the Four Nations faceoff, and he's not because he only plays behind good players. Stupid. I hate Canada's team so much, dude. So bad.
And we'll get into that a little bit later too.
Hey.
So, why don't we switch over to the Oilers there, Graham? I think we've covered most of the Canucks stuff for right now. I'll switch that over to you. How are you feeling about the Oilers right now?
You're terrible at the start of the year. Bad, awful, trade everyone, fire everyone. Oh, wait, a bunch of guys were hurt and playing badly? Oh, well, that's not good. Oh, well, they're all getting healthy. Oh, they're scoring again. Oh, Darnell Nurse is actually figuring out how to play defense? What sorcery is this? Everything's fine. Everything rocks. Does Stuart Skinner still suck? Probably. Who cares? You can score your way out of it. It's fine. And then we have a game like we did last night against Tampa Bay, where it looks like by all accounts, Vasilevsky should goalie you. And you find a couple nice moments where you can pot your goals and then really use defense to kind of seal that win away. Zach Hyman's return since he came back from injury has been like, oh, thank God. He didn't just forget how to score. Because Zach Hyman's brutal start, I was always firmly of the mind that like this dude's got to be hurt because he's fundamentally not playing the way he did last year and the year before. And you don't just stop doing those things because you feel like it. Something is causing that. And when he finally took a few games down to kind of heal up, I think that was mega. I don't know if it was Ryan Reeves hitting Darnell Nurse so hard that the two prongs of how to play defense finally bumped into each other after the head trauma, but either way it worked, and he has turned into one of the Oilers, like one of the biggest reasons the team has been successful, because he's finally, because Darnell Nurse always used to be like big for big sake, and then he would just rack up points playing with McDavid, and he was this long lanky guy that was like always slightly out of position because it was like you think with his physical abilities he'd get there, but something in the last little bit has really connected well, and I think a big part of that has been putting him with a guy like Brett Kulak, who is so good at getting that first pass out of the zone and moving the puck out, that it's, I think, given Darnell Nurse a little bit more comfort and a little bit more leeway to not have to try to do everything in a lot of ways from a puck moving standpoint. Because there's sometimes in the last, like over his career, where Darnell Nurse looked like he was trying to play a forward. Like you'd have all these odd man breaks come back the other way because he's pinching and is behind the net for some reason in the offensive zone. Okay, sure, Darnell, you do you. But this year you can really see a change in how he is using his body and his physical abilities in a way that's not just trying to body check and demo guys, which is like something that's in his arsenal, but it always kind of felt like he was chasing that rather than using his abilities in a much more controlled and smart way. And it's awesome to see. And the Oilers' expected goals when Darnell Nurse is on the ice as opposed to when he's not is down 20% from where it's been in years gone by. And that's like the best thing about this team that like gives me a little confidence. Goaltending I'm really nervous on. Don't like it, but you're also only paying $3.5 million for it. So what do you expect?
Yeah. I saw it. Yeah, I'm looking it up. Darnell Nurse's two most the two guys he plays with the most, as you said, Brett Kulak, and then former Canuck Troy Stecher, who
Troy the answer Stecher.
Yeah.
He had did you see the goal he scored on Jordan Binnington a couple nights ago?
Yeah.
Oh man. So I will say I hate Jordan Binnington. I think that guy's a putz. Like, just grow up and fight someone already, you big baby. Like, I hate that guy. I hate him. And like when Troy Stecher pulls this little like half slap shot and then like a not amazing wrist shot and just torches Binner, and he just gives that whole like sad goalie look to the sky. It's my favorite. I love it. And I mean, I don't know if Troy Stetcher's an NHL player, but Darnell Nurse is helping him become one.
Troy Stetcher's been a good 6'7" guy. And when you look at the Oilers blue line, it feels like you've got three of those, and then three. You got that top pair, which is dynamite. Then you've got Darnell Nurse, who, as you're saying, has figured it out, and then you've got a lot of sort of 6'7" guys that are trying to figure out if they are actually can play better than that.
Yeah, and
Does that make sense?
Totally, 100%, and it's really interesting. Like the Oilers' kind of loss of youth over with those two offer sheets from St. Louis was I think really understated. Because the youngest player on this team is Ty Emerson at 24 years old, which is a wild stat. And like, yeah, you have guys like Corey Perry and Ekholm that like pull up the average age a whole lot more over some other teams. But having Emerson start to figure it out a little bit, he's still at this point, a third pairing guy. I hate to say this. I don't know if he's an upgrade over Cody Ceci. I know Cody Ceci has been lambasted by a lot of people somewhat fairly. His numbers for the Sharks this year are brutal. The Sharks are brutal. What do we expect? But there's very much a hole, I think, to have someone that can play with Darnell Nurse. I really don't love having two left-handed shots on the same blue line, especially in the playoffs, because it's just positionally there's when the games get so much tighter, it's a stick across the body as opposed to like playing it at your natural position. I think that's really, really big. But I mean, if they're still playing awesome, we can run it out. But I think the Oilers absolutely need to look at some some defensive help. I mean, ideally, I think a right hand shot that you can put with Darnell Nurse in a mold of the Brett Kulak like kind of player, and then you can take Kulak and Emerson and put them together. But yeah, I think the Oilers really need to look for a defenseman, or maybe do a rejiggle with Jeff Skinner and see what you can do there. If you want to keep him or find someone a little better that can play with him to get him going. I mean, who knows? The Oilers are an enigma, wrapped in a mystery, wrapped in a Connor McDavid
wrapper
hat.
That sweater that Leon Draisaitl wears, or apron that he wears in that's the Skip the Dishes commercial.
Oh God, I forgot about that until this moment, Sean. Thank you. So thanks for putting that back
welcome.
in the I say with a Leon Draisaitl jersey behind
me. Yeah, that Skinner signing, I think, really I know Kevin was thought that was a bad choice. It just felt like it was like, as you said, outscore your problems type of signing. And I was just looking at the latest lines that the Oilers were going, and he's on the third line now.
Yeah, I mean, he's been on the third line, honestly, pretty much the whole season, with the exception of some spots in training camp. The big reason, I think, is defensively. He is not as sound as some other players that are playing in the top six, which, as a former fan of Vasily Podkolzin, I'm sure will blow your mind. But in a lot of ways, I think Skinner was brought in to kind of be the Evander Kane goal scoring replacement. Well, Kane heals up. That hasn't really turned out that way. I think with Jeff Skinner, I really wonder if it was just like he's figuring it out. I mean, again, you got to point out this guy's paying $3 million. I think right now he's got 11 points on the season.
Yeah.
And
5
of those are goals.
Yeah,
5 goals, 6 assists. I mean, that's over way too many games. Way too many games. But like a 15-goal season, 10 roughly, we could maybe say, from a guy who could go on a tear and pot a whole bunch of even strength goals. I don't think he'll make 20 this year, but like, I don't know. I almost feel kind of bad for Jeff Skinner because he signed here to juice his numbers to get the next big deal. Whereas I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, my dream upon dreams, and I doubt this will ever happen, but my dream upon dreams is to send Jeff Skinner to Chicago with a pick and bring home our sweet boy Taylor Hall. I'd be so hyped, dude. I'd lose my mind. I'd be so excited.
I mean, that is Taylor Hall a UFA at this summer?
He is indeed. Has he had the weirdest career of a first overall pick?
Ooh. Rick DiPietro?
Oh, good point. The Bobby Bonilla of hockey.
Yeah, pretty much.
Still collecting those bio checks, baby. Man, I forgot Rick DiPietro was a first overall pick. Holy
Yeah.
Anna. What a time. Who's the other? There's a DiPietro forever ago in the Canucks system. Who the hell was
Mikey
he?
DiPietro.
Yeah, no relation, right?
No relation, but also a goalie.
Yeah, it's okay. So same, but different.
Yeah.
Was he ever? He was probably. was he a bum?
He played for the Canadian World Junior team. Came in way too early. Got absolutely shelled by, I think, the Sharks in like 2019, and then got stuck as the third goalie in the godforsaken Canadian division year.
Oh, don't remind me.
And his development just got crushed. So,
oh my god, I thought. Okay, how old do you think Mikey DiPietro is?
if we're going back then, he's probably similar to Brandstrom in the 24-25 range.
Oh, see, I thought he had been around enough. I was like, yeah, that guy's got to be like 30, right? He's totally got to be like 30. Now you're right. You're bang on. 25 years old.
Well, it's one of those mind-boggling, like, where did the time go, like, things. It's like,
yeah, that's a good point. Time is a weird soup. The fact that Matthew Tkachuk is now 27 years old, I think he just had a birthday today, blows my mind. Makes me feel weird and old.
I know. I was listening to Merrick versus Wyshynski today, because they're doing that on Merrick's new show.
I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, but I'm very excited because I was like an OG MVSW fan.
Yeah, same here. I was an OG like Puck Daddy back with Rob Pizzo back in the day, listener.
Wow, yeah, that is going back. See,
Yeah.
I found Puck Daddy when it was like Wish and Ryan Lambert.
Yeah. Okay.
And like that in that era. And then like my hockey podcasting love got solidified by the drunk episode of MVSW they did after a trade deadline.
Yeah.
Where Rick Nash got traded to the Bruins, I think.
Oh god, that's so good. Yeah. But so yeah, I was listening to them and they're talking about how the Chicago and Vancouver blood feud was 15 years ago. I'm like, oh, fuck off.
Like, hate that. I remember driving
that
home.
was literally my response. I hate that.
I remember driving home from working at a computer repair shop in Sherwood Park when I was a radio student at NAIT. Like driving to my Oma's house for something or other and listening to Game 6 on the radio. And it was one of the Brad Marchand punch face things that didn't get called, which is just I'm still bummed. Like, just like it's funny when I ever talk to Canucks fans other than you, I really hate the Canucks. And then I talk to you and I'm like, the Canucks aren't that bad. They're okay. They're fine. They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. But I was like peak of my Canucks hatred at that era.
I mean, I don't blame you when you have a team that's consists of Max Lapierre, Alex Burrows, Raffi Torres, and Ryan Kessler, let alone Kevin Bieksa.
Raffi Torres was the one I liked.
I respect that.
There's Oilers legend Raffi Torres to you.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're now old and not with it anymore, and we'll never know what with
not
it was.
with it at all. Not at all.
All right. So where are you at with the Oilers as your friend? Because like I think they'll be fine. I think they're going to get second in the division and run into LA or Vancouver. I'm waiting for Calgary to fall off the map because that team is just mid. But
they already are falling off.
That's what happens when you rely only on your goaltender to be good for you, and a goaltender who is tiny.
Yeah, and still learning. I'd say, I think it's going to be a brawl. It's going to be a brawl for the top 3 spots in the Pacific between the Knights, the Kings, the Oilers, and the Canucks. Like the Kings are only 2 points back of the Knights right now. So
That's so weird.
so it's just one of those. I think that when things are all said and done, I think it's the division will come down to Canucks and Oilers. I think just when if it that and that the caveat is if both those teams sort of fill the holes that they have in their roster on the blue line. I think they've got better high end scoring talent than both the Kings and the Knights right now, and I think the Canucks have the best goaltending of the bunch there, with a healthy Thatcher Demko, and now with Lankinen.
How do you count
thrown
on
into
that?
the
How do you
mix.
count on that though?
I mean, I think it's going to be more of a tandem going forwards, because I don't think they're going to, after what happened with how that he came back, got injured again, and now with the mystery Popliteus injury, they're gonna rest him a lot more. And as long as Lankinen continues to play even just above average, not even at the level that he's been playing at, but even a step below, it'll be good enough. And then you compare that to the Kings with Darcy Kemper, and the Knights with Aiden Hill, and the Oilers with Skinner and Picard. Like, it's just it's hard, even with the question mark of Demko. Lankinen stepping in, the Canucks still arguably have the best goaltending of the bunch there. So
Interesting. I see. I mean, some players can ride a hot streak for the whole season, and it rocks.
yeah,
And it kind of feels like that's where Kevin Lankinen is, because like when he was with Chicago, again, it was Chicago. He was terrible. When he was with Nashville, he had a couple of really nice moments, but like was never groundbreaking. But like maybe he never had a chance, always being behind UC Soros. Everywhere in his career, he's always been like felt like the kind of like the backup's backup, and maybe this is his moment. You know, I'd be worried about how it kind of goes out through the whole season. But like, if Demko's healthy, no question, the Canucks have the best goaltending in. I'm not going to say the division just because I really believe in I really believe in what they're rolling out in Vegas right now. We like Aiden Hill rocks. He's so good. And I'm very comfortable in that zone. But like, yeah, you're looking at the Kings with, oh God, big and saving David playing 17 games of the year. Darcy Kemper's only played 12, and then they have a single game from Eric Portillo and Phoenix Copley. I haven't actually looked at the Kings roster a ton this year, just because I think we played them once. But like the weirdest stat breakdown where you have like Anze Kopitar with 32 points, 24 assists. You got a bunch of goals from Adrian Kempe, a bunch of goals from Alex Laferriere. Who knew that was going to come? But they're players in the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Their number 6 goals scoring player is Brant Clark.
yeah.
What?
And without Drew Doughty, he's basically been running that top power play. So,
I mean, good for him. Brant Clark's awesome. I mean, like, look, you get 28, you got 13 points out of Warren Fogle, and I mean, good for Warren Fogle, I guess. But yeah, the Kings are a weird team, very like a success by community team for sure.
yeah, success by and then it's all about shutting things down defensively.
Yeah, and until they get to the playoffs, when the Oilers will invariably make them look stupid.
I mean, that is the tradition.
It's beautiful. We love it. We're used to it now.
The first year was a little bit of a scare, but last year was not.
No, I will say that second round against y'all, I was like, whoa.
I remember Game 7 just being almost checked out, and then the Canucks made that comeback.
Yeah,
giving
buddy,
me that sliver of hope.
So my family all went out to Rogers to watch Game 7, and so like we got our seats to watch it on the big screen, and the the camera feed was off a little bit. I think it was behind by about, either it was behind or I was behind. Somewhere things were jumbled up because I think the in-stadium clock was behind by about 30 seconds. And so right near the end, when the Canucks make that big final push, and it looks like they're gonna pot it, I'm tearing my hair out. And then all the horns go off. We start playing La Bamba. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. It's sensory overload. What's going on? And then my fiance was like, no, you were looking at the wrong clock. The game's over. We won. I was like, couldn't. Stressy. Honestly, I was more stressed for that than I was for, I think, Game 7 against Florida.
Well, I think you were playing with just house money at that point.
Yeah, Matthias Janmark being the only goal scorer of that game for the Oilers on the pass by Coda CC.
Oh, Cody CC.
Did I tell you what my fantasy team name is this year?
Something with CC, right?
Yeah. I'm Hugo CC's dad's team. His
Nice.
dog, Hugo CC, the famed winner of Oilers last year's Rough Relay.
Nice.
Dumb. It's aside from a little bit of Alexis Lafreniere, like one of the dumbest fantasy team names I've ever had, ever.
I've stuck with my a good ass beard goes a long way.
See, I'm a big fan of the players, like the silly player names, but like you always feel like you got to draft that player to like make your team feel legit, which like I don't really love because I kind of pigeonholed myself into having to draft Cody CC. But there's also 18 teams in my league, and so like when you got to the end of it, it was a lot of, oh, who's that guy? And my boy Cody CC still there with the last pick of the draft.
Let's go to the Four Nations. We've got.
Do we have to?
I mean, there's a few Oilers that were expected to be on the team that didn't make on the Canadian team that didn't make it. I'm assuming that from this conversation that you're not upset that that Stuart Skinner is not on the team.
I mean, oh no, our starting goalie has to go relax in the sand for 2 weeks. Oh no, that sounds terrible. Zach Hyman has to go rest and relax before the playoff push. No,
Yeah.
So sad. I just think based on goaltending alone, like Canada's going to get cooked. Like, I think we're the third best team in that tournament.
States, Sweden, then Canada.
Yeah. I mean, like Sweden has some Sweden. I can see them really going either way, but like this is one thing that Hockey Canada does that's so frustrating to me. Is that they focus in some ways so intently on guys that have like done their time in the Hockey Canada program. In what fucking metric is Brad Marchand on that team this year? Brad Marchand has been awful this year. His possession numbers are brutal.
He was named to the original six players back in like last spring.
Why? Why?
I don't know.
Like,
as I've said multiple times on this podcast, he's held together with voodoo and duct tape.
And it's like, it's kind of cool and it's awesome. Like, it's fun to have players like that around. But like, I don't fundamentally understand when Team Canada goes, wow, you know what this team needs? Colton Parayko, a guy who can barely skate. Or, I mean, I have more time for Travis Sanheim because he's had kind of pulled his career out of a hat kind of year. Because there was a couple times in Philadelphia that dude looked cooked. So like, I got some time, for that. Like leaving Zach Hyman off the roster while putting on someone like Brad Marchand to me feels like very incongruous with your logic on who you're picking and why. the Evan Bouchard stuff. I know a lot of Oilers fans are upset about that one, but like, okay, you need a power play specialist on this team. Who's running your first power play unit on the right hand side? Is it Cale Makar or Evan Bouchard?
Yeah.
And I mean, like, Cale Makar sucks defensively, which is something that like no one is talking about this year, which is weird. But like Bush isn't great either. But like, I get it. You know, take the guy that can skate super, super fast, and then line up behind your other stuff behind them. But yeah, I think Team USA rocks. Like, they're so good. They're so much fun, and I don't think Team Canada is going to make it.
What do I just want to see the Kachucks on the line with JT Miller.
That'd be pretty sick. That'd be pretty cool. You know what? Actually, the line I would really love to see, and it'll never happen. Like, I can't see it breaking out this way, just like by the nature of how those three players play. But like Austin Matthews, Matthew Tkachuk, Brady Tkachuk, that would be so sick. Never will happen, but it would be super fun.
No, so I think it's JT Miller is probably the best bet for that line, just because he's more of a playmaker, and he also likes to muck it up.
You know, I honestly, if I was Team USA, I'd take Matthew Tkachuk. I'd split up Matthew and Brady. Like, they're both left-hand shots. Brady's a little bit more like just more of a physical, kind of really gumming up in the corners kind of guy than Matthew is. Like, I think you almost want to take Matthews and Brady and have them be your like kind of mainline 1-2, and then take like Eichel and Matthew and them go, and you know, or put JT Miller in between those two. Who knows? Like, the US has a lot of options, and like, we'll have at some point there's going to be like a Connor McDavid, Braden Point, Sidney Crosby, and that's going to be super cool. But, I just think Team USA is too good. Like, although their defense is pretty small, I'll say that.
Then we're going to Hagel, Anthony Cirelli, and Sam Bennett line at some point too, up against the Tkachuk line.
Sam Bennett is the one that really gets me. Like, I don't like he's not great on faceoffs. He bullies people. He's annoying to play in playoffs, but like in a 4-game tournament, you're really wasting an entire position on what, angry vibes?
A good mustache.
Oh, cool. Oh boy, can't wait. Let's go. That's why Canada won the 72 Summit Series, the mustaches.
I mean, Bennett is he's a sub 50% face-off guy. He'll probably, like, if that's the line that they go with, he's not going to be centering that line. He'll be that'll be Anthony Cirelli. Who's there. Him and Hagel are there because John Cooper's the coach.
I think so. I think that's probably fair. Although, like, Cirelli's had a dope year. Like,
he's had a really good year, yeah.
Like, Cirelli, I can see. Hagel, if I squint, I can see it. Like, I don't get Sam Bennett there at all. But
and then the one up front that really got me going, and that is, again, because he's held together with voodoo and duct tape, is Mark Stone. Like, you already have one guy held together with voodoo and duct tape and Brad Marchand on this team. Do you really need another?
Man, if I'm Vegas, I really wonder if you go, oh, Mark, wow, I really 4 Nations face off. Really, real big shame that you stepped on that cactus on your way to the plane. That's so sad. I guess you have to go to Cabo for 2 weeks.
All right.
When Mark Stone,
he has to go back. He has to go on LTIR so they can acquire someone else.
Oh, buddy, I keep hearing rumors that Evander Kane might be coming back in February, and I'm like, no, don't let him stay out to the playoffs. We want to be the bad guy.
And that's just Parayko. I would have gone with someone like a Noah Dobson or a Mackenzie Weegar over.
Completely forgot about Noah Dobson. Noah Dobson, friggin' rules. He's so good. Mackenzie Weegar, he gets a little bone brain for me once in a while. Like he'll just throw a pizza up the middle of the ice, and I'm like, all right, cool. But I mean, he's one of the things that are like holding that Flames team together. Yeah, there's a lot of ways. I mean, I'm gonna watch it. Obviously, it's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah.
But I don't expect Canada to get out of the semis.
Yeah. Well, it's a round robin and a final. So.
Oh right, God, so dumb. I mean, all right, Gary Bettman, make your money, but whatever. Hey, before we wrap this show up, I want to pick your brain on something. So you're in Calgary. You have many good friends, many people very important to you that are Flames fans. I would love to know where you're at on the Flames this year, because I'm waiting for the wheels to fall off, because that team is not very good.
They are young, and they are rambunctious. And yeah, it's not the. They scored 4 goals in the game for the first time since October 13th. Last night.
Oh my God, dumb.
So yeah, they're in the rebuild. Like it's and they're rebuilding in what I like, tearing it all down and trying to and trying to just tank for the sake of tanking, which like just puts you in a pit of despair that's going to last for a decade or so. They've got some good young pieces in Connor Zary. Dustin Wolf looks really good.
Connor Zary's good.
Yeah. My issue is I don't know if they've got enough. I don't know if they have. Zary could be it. I'm not sold on him being it yet, but a true top line player, like maybe even a center that you can build around.
Well, the Flames need someone to score.
Yeah,
like they fundamentally don't have players that can put the puck in the net. I mean, you got their leading goal scorer is Jonathan Huberdeau, and he's got 10. Like Kadri has 9. Matt Coronato is the 3rd on team in goal scoring. Are you what? So like I really want to know where that team kind of ends up going. I think you can get a ransom for Blake Coleman if you ship him off. You could probably get a 2nd round pick for Anthony Mantha. You can get an absolute.
Unfortunately, Mantha's done. Like he
right, he was hurt for the year. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
good catch. But like Rasmus Anderson, oh my God, you want to if the Oilers or Canucks really wanted to like put a friggin' stamp down, you orchestrate a 3-way trade to bring Rasmus Anderson from Calgary to someone to Edmonton, Vancouver. Because like I don't think Calgary will ever trade a player of that caliber to Edmonton or Vancouver. I just don't see it happening. But like if you can swindle someone, get a 3rd team in there, a la when Jeff Carter ended up in Columbus.
Yeah.
Well, I hate that guy so much. I wish he was on my team.
I mean, remember the Canucks and Flames made trades last year, right? So
I mean, I guess that's
Lindholm
a good
and
point.
Zadorov.
That's a good point.
I think the Oilers would have to find a way to swindle that in there, but I'm not sold on the Canucks needing to.
You know what? That's probably a good point. Fuck you, getting Rasmus Anderson. God damn it.
God, I would love that so much. Oh, I love the Ras death stare that he does. That's just awesome. So much fun.
He's the defense Brad Marchand. Just kind of a weenie you want to punch.
But yeah, I would say like Coleman's got 4.9 for 2 more years.
Super tradable, super movable.
Yeah, that's tradable. But again, the way I've looked at how teams have rebuilt and seeing how they just end up just being a pit of despair until they get either enough first top end picks that they can finally figure things out, or they just get the right ones. Like the way the Flames are doing it, I think, is the right way of going about it. You're still keeping players around that veterans that can teach the kids how to play. You're not rushing kids into positions that they're not ready for, and they're still finding ways to accumulate youth and accumulate draft picks and accumulate assets that can help them down the road.
Yeah, I think so. That's fair. But I mean, like, I think that team still needs scoring. I mean, geez, Jeff Skinner, I can tell you, he would look not bad and might really help even out a Flames lineup pretty well. I don't understand why the Flames don't like throw a. I mean, I know it's all probably ego and like refuse to trade with Brad Treliving. But like, if I was Craig Conroy, I'd be, hey, and Nick Robertson, 15 goals last year, and you don't play him this year. That's really interesting. What would it take to get a gently used Nick Robertson? Like, I don't know why the Flames aren't going in for like, guys like that can, really kind of like rebuild their careers, who have that scoring touch. Because like Nick Robertson's got a hell of a shot. It's not as good as his brother, but his brother's also having a terrible year. I think there's places I wish the Flames would kind of grow with, but like, I guess you also have to officially give up on guys like, Andrei Kuzmenko, 1 goal, 27 games.
Yeah. I think part of that for me with the Flames is I think they're very laser focused on finding a center more than anything else here. And if they're gonna take a swing on someone and give up assets for that, it's going to be a center that fits that sort of early 20s age range that they're looking for. I don't know if that's the right way of doing it and being so laser focused on that, but we'll see if Conroy can figure that out. I also wonder if they were just keeping things steady for the sake of keeping things steady for the first little bit here. Because they had such a with everything that went on with the unfortunate passing of Gaudreau, I think they maybe just wanted to keep things steady and stable and get through the first part of the season before really look as well, seeing where the team's at. And now that we're seeing just that, they don't have the scoring, and they're still a young team that it might be time to try and start, looking to make moves if they can. But I think that might be the two reasons why they haven't done anything yet.
That's fair. I get that. If I was Calgary, if there's one guy I would look at, especially because his team's a mess, and they seem like they want to blow everything up. Like, I just based on where your age range is, it'd be weird, but it'd be very doable. Can you pry a Jonathan Marchessault or a Steven Stamkos off of the now rapidly falling apart carcass of the Nashville Predators?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's what they'd be looking for.
Oh, Marchessault and Huberdeau, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, Marchessault wasn't the player that he's become when him and Riley Smith were traded to Vegas for the expansion draft, so the Panthers could protect. Oh, who the hell was it?
Alex
Who
Petrovic.
the hell was it? I was going to say it's either Petrovic or Mark Pysyk. Either way, good job.
But yeah, I think if they're looking at any tire fire for players, I think they have to look at Buffalo.
Hey, a guy like Dylan Cousins. Dylan Cousins would look real good in a Flames jersey.
Yeah, he would. He fits the mold of what they would want to have too. Like, just it would be. I'm not sure what the deal would look like there, but yeah.
I don't know. It's
And
Buffalo.
actually,
could be a bag of
Buffalo.
pucks and a pack of wings.
a Buffalo Bills Mafia table. that
One
collapses in on
flaming.
itself, just
I
like
will
the
trade.
sabers.
I will trade you one Dylan Cousins for a flaming and a flaming table because the Pagulas own both. Both of those to Calgary for one slightly pea-smelling Stampede straw cowboy hat and a first or whatever. I don't know.
First round pick. I mean, yeah, Cousins makes a lot of sense if the Flames are so hyper focused on acquiring a younger center. It just, yeah, that's the one I keep looking at for them.
Should be fun. I
So-
can't wait for trade season. It'll be great. We'll get there
It
though.
will
Big game
be.
hunting, baby. Let's go.
Yep. All right, Graham. Thank you for coming back on. It's been way too long. We'll get you back on a lot sooner than this break. You
And
mentioned
likewise,
it earlier. What?
We'll have to have you on one of our post game shows for the Game Over Network coming up very soon, or one of our mini podcasts.
Yes, there we go. Yeah, as you said, you're working with the Game Over Network. How can people follow you?
I am findable on all of the assorted apps and things, and although I'm getting really close to calling it on Twitter, man. Like I know we've all been saying that for months, but like I've been curating my Blue Sky account and like trying to get all the same people that I like and clear out the ones I don't, and just like start fresh. But yeah, I'm at Graham Mosimann on everything from TikTok to Instagram to all that good stuff. Although my Instagram and my TikTok are mostly photos and videos of my dogs.
Nothing wrong with that.
They're just so cute with their little faces.
They are very cute. Very cute.
All right, Shaw, where can people find you?
I am Beardy Canuck 03 on X and Blue Sky. You can follow Kevin Kevole on those on those social media platforms as well. Tyler is Tnoble Tnoble on the X app. Chris is Schneids on all of them except Blue Sky, which he is Schneids 10 because he was too damn slow. Devin Gordhouse09 on the X app. He does have his Instagram back. He's not hawking investment pyramid schemes.
I gave him so many monies for bitcoins. That wasn't real. Oh no, my savings.
You can follow Shifts and Pucks at Shifts and Pucks at all those places, as well as YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next time. Bye for now.